My friend, I am Napoleon Hill, and today I shall reveal to you one of the most powerful secrets I discovered during my 25 years of studying the most successful individuals of our time. This secret is not found in any business strategy, nor in any financial formula. It lies within the fortress of your own mind. In this transformative journey, you will discover how to develop what I call the Unshakable Mind, a mental state so powerful that external circumstances become mere whispers in the wind. You will learn to move through life with the composure of a master, the confidence of a champion, and the inner strength that commands respect without demanding it. Today, I will teach you 10 fundamental principles that will transform you from someone who reacts to life into someone who responds with deliberate power. You will master the art of emotional immunity, learn to harness the incredible force of strategic silence, and discover why the most successful people I studied never allowed external forces to dictate their internal state. By the end of this presentation, you will possess the mental tools to remain unshakable in any storm, untouchable by criticism, and unmoved by the chaos that breaks lesser minds. This is not mere philosophy. This is practical wisdom that has created empires and forged legends. Are you ready to unlock the fortress of your mind? Let us begin. Principle 1. The foundation of mental immunity. The first truth I must share with you is this: your mind is either your greatest asset or your most dangerous enemy. There is no middle ground. Every millionaire I interviewed, every industrial leader I studied, every person who rose from poverty to prosperity understood this fundamental principle. Most people surrender their mental sovereignty to external circumstances. They allow the weather to dictate their mood, criticism to shatter their confidence, and setbacks to demolish their dreams. But the individuals who achieve extraordinary success operate by entirely different laws. Think of Andrew Carnegie, who built a steel empire from nothing. When competitors attacked his business, when economic downturns threatened his operations, when critics questioned his methods, did he crumble? Never. He had trained his mind to remain as solid as the steel he forged. That is mental immunity. It begins with a simple but profound realization. You cannot control what happens to you, but you possess absolute dominion over how you respond. This response, not the external event, determines your destiny. The weak-minded individual sees a setback and immediately declares defeat. The strong-minded individual sees the same setback and asks, quote, "What lesson does this contain? How can this redirect me toward my definite major purpose?" Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. When you allow external circumstances to dictate your mental state, you become a slave to forces beyond your control. But when you train your mind to remain steady regardless of external turbulence, you become the master of your fate. This is not about suppressing emotions or becoming cold. It is about developing what I call intelligent detachment, the ability to observe circumstances without being controlled by them. Like a general surveying a battlefield from high ground, you maintain perspective, while others lose themselves in the chaos below. Principle 2. The power of deliberate non-reaction. During my extensive research, I discovered that the most successful individuals possessed a remarkable quality. They never reacted impulsively. They had mastered what I term deliberate non-reaction. Consider Thomas Edison, who failed over 10,000 times before perfecting the incandescent light bulb. When reporters asked him about his failures, he famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This was not mere optimism, it was deliberate non-reaction in its highest form. When someone insults you, your primitive mind immediately seeks revenge or defense. But your evolved mind, the mind of a true achiever, asks different questions. Does this person's opinion advance my definite major purpose? Will my reaction serve my long-term vision, or am I about to surrender my power to someone who possesses none? The moment you choose non-reaction over impulse, you elevate yourself above the masses. You demonstrate a level of self-control that few possess and that all respect. You become what I call emotionally sovereign, ruling your inner kingdom with wisdom, rather than being ruled by external provocations. Practice this daily. When faced with irritation, pause. When confronted with criticism, breathe. When tempted to argue, consider whether your energy might be better invested elsewhere. This simple practice will transform you from reactive to responsive, from emotional to strategic. Principle 3. Strategic indifference, your secret weapon. One of the most powerful concepts I learned from studying successful individuals is what I call strategic indifference. This is not apathy. This is not coldness. It is the intelligent allocation of your mental and emotional resources. Henry Ford revolutionized industry, not because he cared about everyone's opinion, but because he cared deeply about the right things. He was strategically indifferent to criticism from competitors, while being intensely focused on serving his customers and perfecting his vision. You must understand this truth. Your energy is finite, and it is precious. Every moment you spend worrying about trivial matters is a moment stolen from your dreams. Every ounce of emotional energy you waste on petty concerns is energy that could have been invested in building your empire. The question that will transform your life is this: will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, practice strategic indifference. Let it pass through your awareness like water through a net. Do not allow it to take residence in your mind. This principle applies to gossip, to minor setbacks, to the opinions of those who have never walked your path. Most of what troubles people is temporary, insignificant, and unworthy of their attention. But they give it power by giving it focus. Successful people are not successful because they have fewer problems. They are successful because they choose their battles wisely. They practice strategic indifference toward everything that does not serve their definite major purpose. Principle 4. Transcending the need for approval. During my research, I observed that unsuccessful people shared one common trait. They were enslaved by the need for approval. They bent themselves into shapes designed by others, sacrificing their authentic power for temporary acceptance. But every truly successful person I studied had broken free from this mental prison. They had learned a profound truth. Seeking universal approval is not only impossible, it is destructive. John D. Rockefeller faced tremendous criticism for his business practices, yet he remained focused on his vision of creating a more efficient oil industry. He understood that innovation always faces resistance, that progress always disturbs the comfortable, and that seeking approval from everyone would paralyze his ability to serve and to lead. The need for approval stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about the source of personal worth. Your value does not come from external validation. It comes from the alignment between your actions and your definite major purpose. It comes from the knowledge that you are growing, contributing, and moving toward your chosen destination. When you stop seeking approval, something magnificent happens. You start attracting respect. People are naturally drawn to those who seem complete in themselves, who do not need validation to feel worthy. This self-containment is magnetic because it is rare. Your mission is not to be liked by everyone. It is to be respected by those who matter, and to maintain your integrity regardless of popular opinion. The moment you release the need for universal approval, you reclaim your power. You begin living authentically. Principle 5. The mastery of criticism management. Criticism is the price of visibility, the cost of taking action, the inevitable companion of achievement. Yet most people allow criticism to derail their progress, destroy their confidence, and diminish their vision. I learned from studying the greatest achievers that there are only 2 types of criticism worth your attention: constructive feedback from qualified sources and destructive attacks that reveal the character of your critics. When Henry Ford introduced the automobile, he was criticized by those who believed horses were superior. When the Wright brothers claimed they could fly, they were ridiculed by respected scientists. When any pioneer ventures into uncharted territory, they face the skepticism of those who cannot see beyond current limitations. The key is to filter criticism through intelligence, not emotion. Ask yourself, quote, "Does this critic have experience in my field? Have they achieved what I seek to achieve? Is their feedback specific and actionable, or is it general and destructive?" If the criticism comes from someone qualified and contains valuable insights, embrace it. use it, let it sharpen you. But if it comes from jealousy, ignorance, or fear, treat it as you would treat the barking of a dog. Acknowledge it exists, but do not let it alter your course. Remember this truth: criticism often increases in proportion to your success. The higher you climb, the more visible you become, and the more targets you present to those who remain below. This is not a reason to retreat. It is confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. Principle 6. Composure under fire. One quality that distinguished every successful person I studied was their ability to maintain composure under extreme pressure. They had developed what I call crisis immunity, the capacity to think clearly and act decisively when others panicked. This composure is not natural. It is cultivated. It comes from mental preparation, from visualizing challenges before they arrive, from training yourself to see obstacles as opportunities rather than threats. During the Great Depression, while most business leaders despaired, some saw unprecedented opportunities. They maintained their composure while others lost their heads. They made strategic acquisitions while competitors retreated. They invested when others hoarded. Their composure during crisis became the foundation of even greater success. Pressure reveals character. It separates the prepared from the unprepared, the disciplined from the impulsive, the strategic from the reactive. When you learn to maintain composure under pressure, you gain an enormous advantage over those who crumble when things become difficult. This skill is developed through practice. Start with small pressures, deadlines, unexpected changes, minor setbacks. Train yourself to pause, to breathe, and to respond, rather than react. Over time, you will build the mental muscle that allows you to remain calm in any storm. Principle 7. The liberation of letting go. One of the most difficult, yet liberating lessons I discovered is the art of letting go. Most people suffer not from what happens to them, but from their resistance to what has already happened. They waste enormous energy fighting reality instead of adapting to it. Successful people understand that some outcomes are simply beyond their control. They do not waste time lamenting what could have been or what should have been. Instead, they quickly assess new circumstances and adjust their strategies accordingly. They move forward. This does not mean becoming passive. It does not mean accepting mediocrity. It means focusing your energy on what you can influence, not what you cannot. It means understanding that attachment to specific outcomes often blinds you to better opportunities that emerge from unexpected circumstances. I learned that the most successful individuals possessed what I call adaptive flexibility. They held their goals firmly, but their methods lightly. When one path closed, they found another. When one strategy failed, they developed a better one. They never allowed temporary setbacks to become permanent defeats. And that is true liberation. The practice of letting go begins with acceptance of what is, followed by intelligent action toward what can be. This combination of acceptance and action creates a powerful momentum, one that carries you through obstacles that stop others. Principle 8. The strategic power of silence. In my studies, I noticed something fascinating. The most influential people were often the quietest in the room. They had learned that silence is not emptiness. It is power, concentrated. Silence serves many strategic purposes. It forces others to reveal themselves while you remain mysterious. It creates space for observation and analysis. It prevents you from saying things you might later regret. It commands attention when you finally choose to speak. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it with noise, with explanation, with insecurity. But when you master the art of strategic silence, you shift the dynamic. You become the one in control. People begin to wonder what you are thinking. They lean in, they wait for your words, and when you finally speak, your voice carries weight. This principle extends beyond conversation. In your work, let your results speak before your words do. In your relationships, let your actions reveal your values. In your ambitions, build first, announce later. The world is full of noise, of people shouting to be noticed, chasing attention with volume rather than value. But when you move in strategic silence, focusing on substance over style, on achievement over announcement, you stand out by standing back. Principle 9. Daily mental conditioning. Your mind, like your body, requires daily conditioning to remain strong. The successful individuals I studied all maintained rigorous mental disciplines that kept their minds sharp, focused, and resilient. This conditioning includes several key elements. First, the daily practice of focused thought, spending time each morning visualizing your goals and planning your actions. Second, the habit of reading and learning continuously, feeding your mind with knowledge that serves your purpose. Books, articles, audio, always something that builds you. Third, the discipline of meditation or quiet reflection, training your mind to remain calm and centered, even when the world is not. But most importantly, mental conditioning involves this: the consistent practice of choosing your thoughts rather than being chosen by them. Every day presents opportunities to exercise mental discipline, to choose optimism over pessimism, focus over distraction, persistence over surrender. The mind that is not consciously directed will drift toward negativity, worry, and doubt. But the mind that is deliberately trained will become your most powerful ally in achieving any goal. Start each day by setting your mental tone. End each day by reviewing your thoughts and actions. Track your growth. Over time, this practice will create an unshakable mental foundation that serves you in every circumstance. Principle 10. The mastery of moving in silence. The final principle I wish to share is perhaps the most powerful of all: the mastery of moving in silence. While others announce their intentions and seek validation for their dreams, true achievers work quietly and let their results speak. During my research, I observed a striking pattern. Those who talked most about their plans accomplished the least. Those who spoke little achieved the most. Why? Because energy spent in talking is energy not invested in doing. Attention sought in speaking is attention diverted from building. When you move in silence, several powerful things occur. First, you avoid the skepticism and doubt of others. Second, you prevent premature judgment of incomplete work. And third, you maintain the element of surprise. Most importantly, moving in silence forces you to derive satisfaction from the work itself, rather than from external recognition. This internal validation is far more sustaining than applause, far more reliable than praise, far more powerful than popularity. Build your empire in silence. Perfect your craft in private. Develop your skills away from the crowds. And when you are ready, when your work can speak for itself, then step into the light. But until then, let the work be its own reward. My friend, you now possess the 10 fundamental principles that separate the unshakable from the easily disturbed, the successful from the struggling, the leaders from the followers. These are not merely theories. They are practical tools forged in the crucible of real achievement and tested by the most successful people of our time. But remember this: knowledge without application is worthless. These principles must be practiced daily, refined consistently, and applied persistently. Master one, then another, and another. Your mind is the most powerful force at your disposal, but only when you learn to direct it consciously and deliberately. The chaos of the world cannot touch you when you have built the fortress of mental immunity. The opinions of others cannot shake you when you have developed strategic indifference. The pressures of life cannot break you when you have cultivated unshakable composure. The path to an unshakable mind is not easy, but it is simple. It requires discipline when you would prefer comfort, patience when you would prefer speed, silence when you would prefer to speak. But for those who commit to this path, the rewards are extraordinary. You will move through life with a confidence that attracts opportunity, a composure that commands respect, and an inner strength that makes you truly unstoppable. You will become the person you were meant to be, not at the mercy of circumstances, but the master of your destiny. The choice is yours. Will you remain reactive to life's storms, or will you develop the unshakable mind that transforms every challenge into an opportunity? Will you continue seeking approval from others, or will you build the inner validation that makes you truly free? I challenge you to begin this transformation today. Choose one situation that normally disturbs your peace and respond to it with the composure of a master. Notice how this small change begins to shift your entire perspective. If this message has resonated with your deepest aspirations, if you recognize the truth in these principles, then I invite you to subscribe to Napoleon Hill Mastermind Journeys. Join our community of individuals committed to mental mastery and personal transformation. But more than subscribing, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me this: what is one external force that has had too much power over your peace of mind, and how will you begin to reclaim that power starting today? Your journey to an unshakable mind begins with a single decision. Make that decision now, and let nothing, absolutely nothing, stand between you and the person you are destined to become. The fortress of your mind awaits your construction. Begin building today.